Hi everyone, today I am going to be giving you a juicy story time on my recent health scare. So, if you want to learn about my traumatic experience, please keep watching. This started back in August of 2021. At the time, I was nannying for a family and their daughter had gotten sick. And so I got sick in the form of a cold. That was like the first time that I started to feel shortness of breath. In the beginning of October, I started babysitting for this other family because the previous job ended. Their daughter had gotten sick. One of their daughters had gotten sick. She had like a sore throat, and I didn't really think anything of it, but I was definitely a little more cautious because of the last time that I was in contact with someone that got sick. So a few days later, I would say around the weekend, I started to feel sick, getting cold symptoms. It was a Monday night. I think it was midnight, and I couldn't go to sleep, but I was laying on my back, and so I would notice that I was having trouble breathing on my back. So then I would flip to my side, I would flip to my stomach. I was on the bed, on my knees, trying anything at that point to try to breathe. That's when, we went to the living room and we were sitting down, and it was 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So then he started looking at places that we could go to, immediate cares, because I didn't think it was that serious to go to an emergency room. He starts looking for immediate cares to go to. Of course, there was no immediate cares open at that time, and the one that we found, it was all the way in the south side, and it didn't open till 7:30, I think, or 7. I don't even know when we left, 6, 5:30. We just started to head over there. Yeah, we got to the immediate care. I went to go sit down. I just remember everyone looking at me because I think I was trying to cough and I was having a hard time breathing. So it looked like I had COVID, could have had COVID, but that was already ruled out because we had taken a test on the weekend that I started feeling sick to see if it was COVID or not. 30 minutes or an hour later, it felt like forever. They finally called me back there. My boyfriend can't come with me, and then I went back with the nurse. But basically, she gave me a COVID test, the one in the nose and then the oral one. That oral one is so horrible. They took me back for triage, and they gave me an EKG, and it basically came back tachycardic, which means that I had a really fast heart rate, and they didn't want to do anything to me there, so they immediately called the ambulance. I kind of didn't know that the ambulance was coming. I had heard sirens, and then they came to tell me that the ambulance was coming. They're starting to put me on a wheelchair, but one of the ambulance wheelchairs where they lay you on your back and they take you out. And as they're doing that, I'm wait, my boyfriend is here. Why am I going into an ambulance? And they're oh, you have someone here with you. And I'm yes. So then they go and get him, and he comes in all confused, where are you going? Why are you going in an ambulance? No, I don't know. I didn't know anything about this. I've never been in an ambulance in my life. I just know that they're super expensive, but at that time I didn't feel I could say I don't want to go in the ambulance because they were already there. They were already taking me out. So anyway, I just went and they told my boyfriend that they were gonna take me to the hospital and that it was like 5 minutes away and to just follow them. So I go, they're like taking me in, and it's like one of those wheelchairs that they lay you on your back, and that was so horrible because I was having a hard time breathing. So like being on my back was not ideal. Like I was just like, oh my god, like trying to, it was like hours at this point that I was having shortness of breath. So my body was like starting to get tired. Anyway, we're in the ambulance. They like give me that little finger thing and they're like checking my vitals. And everything seemed like fine, except that like my heart was just like racing. So then we get to the hospital, go to the emergency room. They check me in, and I've never been to an emergency room ever, so I didn't really know what to expect or what it was like. So we're waiting there, my boyfriend's there with me, and they take me back before you go into the waiting room, and they like ask all these like questions and stuff like that. Anyway, we got past that, and then I go to the waiting room. We're just waiting. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, we're gonna go in soon because like, I don't know, obviously. Well, we didn't. And we were waiting there. My back was killing me. I was like, when are we going in? I was in a lot of pain at that point. Like my body was very tired from like overworking, from trying to breathe. And my back was really hurting, and I started crying because I literally could not take the pain anymore. I was like, this is so horrible, like I'm having a really hard time breathing. All this time I am still wearing a mask, so that was like even more, I don't know, like a hassle for me. So then I was like, I'm telling my boyfriend like, I can't take it anymore, I can't take it, like I need to like be seen, or I need something, I need to take this mask off. So I literally just like walk out. The security dude told him that, you know, you can't fully go out because the doors will lock behind you and you won't be able to come back in. So he stayed in the little vestibule while I went out to be able to take out my mask. I don't even know how long I was out there, maybe like 10 minutes. And I was so shocked that I could just like walk out because I thought that they would like come and tell me like I can't be out here. So I'm like outside and I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm trying to like relax. My back's killing me, like, so I'm standing. And then I started walking back to go inside. And I was telling him like I can't do this. I don't know, like we need to like see someone now because I'm having like a really hard time breathing. I go back in and I start like holding on to my boyfriend. Then he pulled my mask down and he saw that my lips were turning blue, and then it was like, oh, I fainted. He obviously caught me because I was like holding on to him. And then they immediately, like, the next thing when I woke up, I was still in that vestibule, and they were like, is she seizing, is she seizing, is like what I remember hearing when I was like coming to. And obviously I wasn't like seizing. But they finally took me back in, and I was so pissed off. I was like, I've been having a hard time breathing for like hours. They didn't seem to like pay any attention or anything, and I don't know. I guess it's just like how the waiting room is now. I know I never would have thought it was like that. Go back there, and the nurses are all like looking at me like I'm just like shocked. They asked me like if I was vaccinated, and I was like yes. And then they finally took me to a room. They come in and they put the IV like in here. And the lady that was doing my IV, I don't know if I think she was like in training. And of course, like I think the first time she missed, so she had to do it again. And then I had like blood. I remember when it was like done, like my whole like elbow crease thing here was like all bloody. I had like blood on my pants I know it's like on the bed, and I was like, oh my god, this is literally the worst thing. Like I don't know, but I was also kind of out of it too, which is like a kind of good thing, because I think I would have been a little more freaked out. And I was just like, at this point, like, do whatever to me, because like I just want to breathe. And then a specialist came in. They hooked me up to this ventilator, and thank God it wasn't the one that goes down your throat. It's like this mask, and I had to just have that on for the next 4 hours. And I mean, that was helping me breathe, but my mouth was super dry, and they didn't even like let me drink water. Like, they didn't let me take it off at all for like 4 hours. So that was not fun either, because I was really like, I needed some water. I had like cotton mouth. Later they sent me up to go do an MRI, and that was really weird. So it was interesting. There was a lot of first things. Then they sent me up into where I was going to be staying, because they decided to keep me overnight. I still didn't know anything yet. I had like oxygen plugged up, but we still didn't know like what this was. And I had taken, I feel like 3 or 4 like COVID tests, like, so it wasn't COVID. I think it was later that night they came back in, a doctor came back in that was like seeing me. He was some kind of doctor. What is it? A pulmonologist? And that's when he basically told me that it was asthma, which was like really weird, because I've never had asthma like in my life. So I was like just like confused on why this, I don't know, or how this could happen. I think I stayed in that room for like a day, a night, and then they moved me up to a different place. It was like 2 nights that I stayed there, and I remember I hated staying there because I don't know if it was in the morning or at night, but they would come and they would like have to give you blood thinners like in your stomach, because you're laying down, you're not moving, so they don't want, you know, your blood to clot. And that's like seriously so horrible, getting a shot in your stomach. Oh my god, I swear I was getting all the things that I always feared of. It was like 2 days later, I got to go home. They gave me an inhaler, and they showed me how to use it. And then I also had to go pick up an emergency inhaler. But that's pretty much where the story ends. Definitely the most traumatic thing that has happened to me in my entire life. Those key takeaways from this experience would be to not ignore signs of, I don't know, anything that could be going on, but definitely like a sign of shortness of breath is not something that should be ignored. I mean, this started in August. Yeah, it just got worse when I kept getting sick. I guess some theories surrounding this as to like how could I get asthma at 22 years old, because the doctors were saying that it was really rare to happen like in your adult life. And one of the theories was, you know, it'd be caused from viral infections. So like when I was getting sick and getting cold, that definitely triggered it. It still triggers it to this day. If I get sick, I get a cold, my asthma starts acting up. I mean, I've been taking like my inhaler every morning and night. I get shortness of breath like when I wake up, and I get shortness of breath at night. I mean, not even being sick, but like definitely when I get sick, it's like a buildup of like mucus and stuff. And then another theory that my boyfriend had was that this could have started at a much younger age, because I started smoking at a young age, but that it was just ignored because, you know, like when you smoke and then you feel like, I don't know, shortness of breath, you just think it's because you just took a hit, but it actually maybe could have been asthma. But then I also later found that apparently my dad had asthma when he was younger. And I had no idea. But yeah, this is pretty much a story of me being diagnosed with asthma. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. So nice being young.